I'm back! Okay, I thought of a fun challenge, beating GTA in both first person and without any minimap or HUD. This guy technically beat me to it, but I didn't know that when I recorded the footage. He's doing all gold missions and in more of a demonstration format. I'm doing whatever the fuck this is. Got of that? Okay, great. The obvious answer to this is technically no, as some parts of the game forces you into third person. Just kidding. I'll address these moments as they crop up, but generally the challenge comes from navigation and awareness, so semi-cutscenes and on-rails sections I think are okay. So not including that, can you beat the game? Well, nothing exactly requires the minimap, so yeah, it should be possible, but here's the catch. I'm not a speedrunner. I've played the story about half a dozen times, and while I've got a bunch of hours in GTA, I mostly play online. Boo. Boo. So, while I know the map, I might not know all the story points. Speaking of which, let's address the rules. Beat all required missions to get to the game's ending, first person view only, and the radar has to be turned off at all times. In the spirit of the challenge, I'll be turning off the main HUD and subtitles too. At no point can I look at any guides or outside help other than whatever I can remember before I thought of the challenge. Throughout, I cannot look at the main map, and when I have to pause the game, you'll just have to trust that I didn't sneak a peek. But you guys trust me, right? Oh, and no mission skips or taxis, because that would be lame.
Alright, everybody pays attention, no one gets hurt! Go! Open the door! They'll get worse!
After that grand start, it seems everything is okay so far. I'm sure the rest of the missions won't.
I've seen these eyes! Crazy!
And I'm back to third person already. Great. Oh, this is a semi-cutscene, so it's clear. Plus,
Get 1,000 things every day. How about you make sure this is one of them?
on the getaway I crashed.
I'm gonna leave you, Mikey!
I left Mikey, attended my own funeral, and the opening title rolled in. Went to therapy. While sitting outside, I spoke with a couple of guys, one of which had a face I'm sure I'd recognize anywhere. Anyway, off for some legitimate business. Okay, so being the second mission of the game, I've done this one a lot of times. Making it around the little course Lamar drives without a scratch. Without a scratch. The cops became suspicious. Can't imagine why, but it does help segue into another aspect of difficulty to the challenge. Cops. Without a radar, I can't see where they are or where they're approaching from, which makes evading them difficult. To combat this, I drive into the underground tunnels nearby. We're likely to end up here a few times, so I'll add a counter for funsies. I'm sure this is a good omen. Coming out of the tunnels through the subway, I got slightly stuck and got worried as I'd be going out the way trains come in. But they're not too common, so I'm sure I'll be fine. After dropping off the car, I meet my boss, talking to a... Between me and Lamar, I bet one of us has a face this kid will remember. Got roasted, and fully removed my yee-ass haircut. Lamar was right about the hair, as I immediately got Employee of the Month. He wasn't happy about it. Maybe he should have shaved that yee-ass haircut. Now in this mission, after a gunfight, you're required to chase down a guy on a bike. If I were to lose sight of him, it would be game over. But, even though the bike is fast, bullets are faster. Met Tanya. I knew the car was somewhere around Legion Square, so I just stalked around until I found it. Broke into a house, did a stealth, and paid no suspicion to the dad-shaped quilt in the back seat. And shit. This is our first real problem. Michael forces us into third person. I tried to pull over and sit in a cutscene mode, but He kept telling me to drive.
Drive. I said drive.
So, unless I wanted a mission fail, that wasn't an option. I decided the only way to keep the integrity of the challenge intact was to make the drive without ever leaving cinematic cam, which was arguably harder than the actual challenge.
Yeah, maybe one day we'll have a car dealer, dog. Work this out.
Then I realized if I drove backwards, then it's like nothing was wrong. See? You can hardly tell the difference. Oh, for fuck's sake. I was in third person again. Cinematic cam had abandoned me. Michael was getting angry, and I was panicking. Now, you're welcome to make your own judgment on if this invalidates the challenge, but I'm going to allow it. As like I said before, the difficulty comes from navigation and awareness. And all I'm doing is moving a car across a junction. Plus it goes from one scene directly into another within seconds, so it could be considered a semi-cutscene, but like I said, feel free to make your own decision. Anyway, I beat up Simeon. I knew McCreary should spawn nearby, so I figured I'd grab him since he's a good heist contact. To evade the police, I used Old Reliable. Okay, the moment I lost the cops, I immediately realized my mistake. I had no idea where to drop him off, and
Drop us around the corner.
wasn't very helpful. My gut told me around the industrial area, so I started my search there. Luckily, my gut instinct was right, and there was only so many streets there, so it didn't take too long to sweep the area. But while it wasn't too hard this time, it made me worry about what was to come. Hehe, foreshadowing. While on the way back to Michael's house, I may have bumped into the wrong guy. Well, you know what this means. Yeah, that's useful. Cheers. Hey, is that Franklin's car? While basking in the glory of Phil Collins, the known trespasser decides it would be a good idea to trespass again, now that he knows the homeowner is both armed and unstable. Like, what was his plan here? He seems to genuinely think I want to go have beer with him.
I wasn't really serious about that. What?
Anyway, I go off to have a beer with him. Well, we would have, if someone hadn't got my goddamn boat stolen, Jimmy!
You're the guy from the dealership!
Oh, hey, look at that. Jimmy did remember Franklin. Saved Jimmy.
What the fuck is wrong with you, kid?
And lost the boat.
Ah, my fucking boat!
Met a good boy. Met D.
You see what he driving? Man, we in a van, motherfucker. We fucked.
Interesting observation from Franklin there. I was somewhat concerned about this as well, without a radar to track him. But, well, it turns out vans and high-end bikes are about even. Okay, but for real, can we give some sort of award to this guy? He's clearly out of shape and past his prime visually, but he was hit by a full-on fucking bus, launched, slammed into the tarmac, and somehow got up and started running in a matter of seconds. Outruns an actual dog, leaps over fences, parkours between train carriages, and even when I catch up to him, dude just sprints off and launches himself onto a moving train. Like, seriously, he's the Terminator. Dude, you just got hit by a bus. We let him go. Probably safer this way. Dude's clearly superhuman. Got cucked. Hey look, third person. Semi-cutscene, we're clear. Oh hey, another one. Well, I'm just holding W and not moving, so I think this transcends semi-cutscene into glorified cutscene. Oh yeah, I pulled a fucking house off a cliff, that's cool. Met Martin. Met Lester. Met Ricky. And infiltrated Facebook.
If you guys let me use the OS I requested, this wouldn't be a problem.
Oh god, he's a Linux nerd.
Hey, have you seen the prototype in the demo room? When Norris announces it at the keynote, minds are gonna
Oh! Okay, Dad, I got just the thing to show you.
Alrighty, bike time. Hey, you see this? Yeah, I sure didn't. There we go. While swimming, I realized I couldn't actually see my oxygen, but it's not like much happens underwater in this game, so I'm sure that won't cause any issues down the line. Phone Tracy, and I think I might have escalated the situation a bit.
What are you doing? Hey! Man!
2 shots, huh? Convenient. I got tracked down by the tech guy who didn't know how to use antivirus software. I'm not sure how. I was so well disguised. Bought some guns from Tam, and went off to see Lester.
You got any contacts in LS or not?
I've been working with someone, but they're too unpredictable.
Hey, he's talking about me! Lester explained how Michael wasn't in witness protection, and I briefly got lost. But luckily I had a decent idea of the area, so I got back on track fairly quickly.
We don't need to scope out the street. Go inside.
Did some parkour.
Cover the vents on the roof now. Okay, that'll do.
Fuck! Fine, I'll come down safely this time. Okay, decision time. I went with Smart as it seemed the more fun option. It has double the setup missions, but way less cops than the setup for Loud. I went with Kareem since he's the cheapest driver, McCreary since he's the cheapest to not have buttery fingers and die, and obviously I gotta get Ricky as my hacker. I mean, who can argue with only a 4% cut?
I don't wanna know. What the fuck? I mean, what the hell going on here?
Which is it, Franklin? Met Stretch. Though I kinda wish I didn't. Did the ammunition tutorial, which seems oddly late into a game based around shooting things. You're no Tam.
Hey, look, this ain't about you, man. What? You know these niggas done. Yo, what the fuck this trick talking about, man?
Oh shit, we're locked in here with the Terminator. I don't know how we're gonna... Oh. His weakness. Bullets. One thing leads to another, and I've got to flee the cops. Old Faithful. Bugstar's van was right next to my vehicle warehouse in GTA Online, so I knew the way more than I really should. Anyway, yoink. 0 cops. Nice. Okay, onto the knockout get. Fine. I knew she was near Ponsonby's, so I just went there and had a peek around. Gotta get away from the cops, huh? Okay, onto the knockout gas for real this time. Well, I know they come down this road, so... Ah, there it is. Yeah, shit. Heist time!
Nice throw!
Alright, so I was worried I might not be able to get all the gems, as I can't check the radar to see what ones I've missed. Luckily, Michael gave a voice line to indicate we got it all.
They're out of stones. Let's hit the road.
Now, I know what you're probably thinking, but Len, you don't need to get all the gems. Yeah, well I didn't need to get McCreary either, but here we are. I never heard this challenge was efficient. Go watch that other guy for that. You know, after you finish watching this. So, it's scripted, and it doesn't even lose you the cops, but you do try to evade the police by going through a tunnel, so... Son of a bitch!
High fives, bro! We lost him!
Yep. We sure did. Alright, so... Shit. This is it. This is the real essence of the challenge. It's here. I'm lost. I completely forgot where the lockup was. I knew it was nearby, but I didn't get lucky like I did with McCreary. I drove around and around, through back alleys, down several local neighborhoods, multiple times. The local gangs must have been hella suspicious. I started getting desperate. The temptation to open the map was strong. But don't worry, I stayed pure. Turns out I'd gone down every road except this one. Why had I neglected this road for such a long time? I'm gonna be honest. I'll be asking that question myself for quite a while. Fucking finally. That's a portion of my life I'm not getting back.
Thank God you're here. Where have you been, bitch? Where have you bloody been?
Trevor time.
Fucking shit! Cut!
Off to see bikers. Oh shit, they're not here? maybe they're further down.
We're going up to that farm on the right? That's where they're meant to be.
Cheers, Ron. Met the bikers and Doomguyed the biker camp. Had to deal with a semi-cutscene. This is the same as the house on the cliff incident, so I think we're clear. Met Ortega and showed him why you shouldn't pull me into third person. Met Cheng, met Chef. Oh hey, drug people.
Here.
Bikers trash my home. Stocked up from Melvin, who is a pushover. Tam wouldn't have been a pushover. Did some sniping. Plan failed, so we decided to wing it. You get it? Because it's a wing. Anyway, onto the sequence where I ride the wing, which is in third person. Again, this can be up to you if it renders the run invalid, but now say it with me. The challenge of this run is navigation and awareness. And this is on rails, so I have no control over movement, so... Alrighty, that brings us nicely to the first flying segment of the game. Now, in first person, this can be quite tricky. But this is a fairly simple flight with a lot of open space, so I made sure to just play it safe.
When the Lost MC are posting unexpectedly soft...
Back in alternate.
Mexico! Yeah, to me, Ron.
I'm sorry to ask.
Nope. Met the O'Neills. Doomguyed the farmhouse. Got a bit ballsy. And remembered, cool guys don't look at explosions. Alright, buckle down, this is a long one. First proper stealth section. Which I immediately tried to ignore by just driving in and winging it. I couldn't see which trailers I had to attach bombs to, and I couldn't see if I had successfully hit them. After detonating, I found out I hadn't got them all, and that ended about as well as you'd expect. I learned from my mistakes by attempting the exact same thing again, but this time I threw more sticky bombs to make sure I got all of them, which ended about as well as you'd expect. Fine, I'll do it on foot. I still don't know which trailers to hit, but it's easier to hit them now, and I'm less likely to be caught. Not that I tried too hard, which ended about as well as you'd expect. Okay, this time I decided to be a bit more killy. Less people to deal with when I mess up placing bombs, right? Well, I got caught pretty quick, so I just set off the bombs I had placed already, and I just started to blow up the trailers one by one. So I knew if I'd got them all. That ended about as well as you'd expect. What? You didn't expect that one to work? Off to Los Santos. Now, as I first saw the lights of the city, I made a mistake. See this turning? I need to turn right here to get to the overlook where Trevor has a little moment. I did not turn right, however, as I had forgot where it was, and I guess I figured it wasn't required. You could even see me considering going that way in the footage. Damn it. You know the best part? I managed to find my way onto the road you'd come down just after the cutscene. If I had just turned right... But I just don't want to turn right, I guess. Despite not hitting the checkpoint, Wade started giving me directions, which made me think I was fine. Also, doing this challenge actually made me wish NPCs gave directions more often. Ah well. Got to Floyd's house and... Yep. Can't get in. Well, only one thing for it, I guess. Hopefully it spawns me close to the turn. Okay, why would it spawn me near the turn? Why, yeah, well, of course I would have to drive. Why wouldn't I? That's flawless game design. This is we've peaked as humanity. We can't do better than this. We can't do better than this. What the fuck? Now, because I'm dumb as shit, I didn't know where I made the wrong turn. So, I took a different turn way earlier than I should have. I think in my mind the spot was somewhere to the left or something. I don't know. Luckily, I started to feel something was off and turned back to try and get on the road I was on the first time. Once I got to the turning, I made the right turn. Get it? Because it's like right as in correct. There you are, you wee yellow bastard. Anyway, since I've already shown I know the way to Floyd's house... Reunion!
I was making myself a juice. Broccoli, raw kale, fish oil. I'm making it. The blender slips, juice goes everywhere. I'm about to clean it up when I find this bag of grass.
You know, this isn't really relevant at all, but up until editing this, I never actually noticed how Michael just straight up lies here when he really doesn't need to. He talks about making juice and spilling it everywhere, leading to the discovery of the weed, which, as we saw, didn't happen. He was pouring a glass of whiskey. He could have just said he found it in the freezer without elaborating. Just a cool, subtle detail to show his character as a compulsive liar. Anyway, back to the challenge. Met Laszlo. Alright, so when I was first thinking about what would be tricky when I started this challenge, this was the one that came to mind. This was the one I was worried about. I have to chase Laszlo, who's in a small car darting around streets, while in a big, unwieldy big rig with my only form of tracking being my eyes, in first person, in the cab. I was worried. I tried to avoid the problem entirely, but obviously that didn't work out. My panic started to set in as I watched Laszlo start to drive off, as I was waiting for Michael to slowly walk around the cab to get in. And then, well, Laszlo was really slow, and didn't take as many turns as I thought he would. I really had no clue why I was worried here. Oh well. After all that excitement, I called Dave. He said we should meet at the observatory, and it seems my car is missing. If only there were some other means for me to get there.
Trevor. A couple days ago.
Dude, it was like a couple of minutes ago. Looked at some dead bodies. I guess Michael must have taken a bite of one, since you are what you eat. And he's... did better the second time. Jumped out the window at... ah, shit. Well, it goes straight into a cutscene. Fuck you, this counts. Have to evade the police, you say? Is this a tunnel? I'm not sure to classify this as. Tunnel. I'm gonna go with a no on that one.
I'm full of shit!
Michael says something truthful for once. Met Steve. Ever so slightly forgot where I was going. Only for a minute or so this time. While flying to the point, I couldn't find the exact spot it wanted me to go. I went lower, but then I was just hitting the roof of the building. I took a fly back to get a bigger picture, and still couldn't see where it wanted me, so I just flew in again, and I guess it liked it this time. I don't know if Rockstar decided for some reason this didn't need a world marker, or I'm just blind. I mean, both are possible. Alrighty, rappelling. This has to be a semi-cutscene, right? All you're doing is watching someone go down a wall. Your only direction is down. It's not like you can get lost or anything. I think we're clear.
You saved me! Thank you! Thank you! I wouldn't say free. More like under new management.
Man, I really do not like this mission. It was kind of interesting the first time in a playthrough, but every time after that, I found it so boring and more of a chore. Every time I start it, the joy just starts to evaporate from me. Not only is the gameplay stretched out and uninteresting, this is the mission Jimmy pulls a real, look at me, I'm a cunt move, and Michael is pushed to his lowest point. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve what happens to him here, but it still isn't fun to see. And you can tell I found it so boring, because I started writing this ranting script before realizing this mission actually threatens the challenge. But let's be honest here, this is the most cutscene-y, glorified cutscene I can think of. This wasn't up to your opinion, this one is just fact. And if you think the run dies to this, I'm sorry pal, you are far too out of touch with reality, to the point I'm impressed you even managed to get a hold of a device capable of internet connection, let alone get on YouTube and onto this random ass video of all places. This gets a pass. Oh, and I got slightly lost on the way to the burger joint, but whatever. It wasn't by much, who cares? Anyway, you know the rest. Get drugs, get drugged, have a trip, and what the fuck, another one? Are you fucking kidding me? Not only do I have to go through my least favourite mission, which threw in a third person segment, which is boring as fuck, but it has the audacity to do it again? Okay, this one is more debatable, but the game really doesn't care where you go, and it doesn't really make a difference how much you can see, so I think we're still in the clear. I could have literally done this with a blindfold and without any input and still passed. But seeing as I could see and I had input, I just YOLO'd into Michael's house to get the segment over with. I hate this mission. Sorry if you scripted this one, Alan. Got my cock out. Now, I know a lot of people complain about the tedium of this mission, but honestly, after that shit show I just went through, it was like a breath of fresh air. Plus, trying to operate the handler with only first person was actually kind of fun. Not challenging really, but enough to keep my interest. Went up a crane. Getting into the cabin sets you in third person. But it immediately lets me switch cameras, so if you consider this a failure, then we already failed right at the start of the game, so... Anyway, the new view we're in now, at first impression seems, well, not third person, also not first person. But if you look not too closely, you can see subtle lines indicating this is a camera feed, and if you look at the cabin, you can see what looks to be like a monitor. So technically, this is still a first-person perspective, albeit a perspective of someone really close to the monitor. But hey, we're all hashtag gamers here, right? We've all been there. Got Floyd beat up, Wade got a shit bukkake, and we planned the next heist. My options were either a relatively easy option, where I just gotta shoot some people and have a swim, or the much harder option, where I have to hook a submarine in the middle of the ocean with 0 reference points, major blind spots, and stealing from Fort Zancudo, where I can't see enemy positions or keep track of my health. Yeah, I've not hit that level of self-hate yet, so I'm gonna go with option 1. Met Devin.
You. Where did we meet?
Nowhere, pal. Yeah, we did.
And off I go, with the only indication of where being...
It's Caesar's place, round the corner from your house.
So I go to Michael's house and just aimlessly wander around the neighborhood until I stumble across it. Which didn't actually take too long. And here we are, the infamous torture scene. Added to grab media attention and show everyone just how edgy the game is. And, most importantly, known for not being first person. Okay, so let's be honest here. Even Telltale games have more gameplay than this segment, and one of those games was put on Netflix as an interactive movie. This is the same situation as the yoga, and you all know how I feel about that one. Feeling justified, I went with waterboarding. Because that way, the scars are only emotional. Took a lucky guess, and saved Mr. K from 2 extra waterboardings, and then saved him the cost of a taxi to the airport. I'm so thoughtful. I wasn't sure which mission I had to do next, but luckily soon after switching to Franklin, Lester threw me a text. Okay, I needed to assassinate someone, so I wanted to make sure I had all the tools I would need. So I went to see Tam. You never let me down, Tam. I set up a field of proxy mines, but a taxi driver decided he'd take one for the team. Use sticky bombs this time for manual control. With the grenade launcher as backup, it went well. Tried to do a drug deal, failed to do a drug deal, and remembered that I couldn't see my health. I, met MC Clip. Lose the cops, huh? I wonder where I should... Hey, just want to make a note. All the voice recording from like casing the jewel store up till now, I was ill. It sounded fine at the time, but during editing I've noticed I sound a bit off. I'm not going to re-record it, I just wanted to let you know. I'm not ill now, so, you know, that's something. Anyway, back to your regularly scheduled bullshit. Looks like the sub is next. Okay, the game forces you into third person if you're surfaced, so I made sure to stay submerged. It made navigation difficult, however, so I tried to just hug the wall, and since I couldn't remember which dock I had to go to, I just tried them all in order. until I saw that magical circle in the distance. Why did I attempt this mission at night? What was I thinking? While I was admiring the sights, Floyd took his revenge. This was probably the hardest mission so far. You see, I had to watch a cutscene and then, well, that was it. It said Blitz play in the bottom right corner, so technically that counts as a mission. And all the setups act like their own mission, so that was a mission. Anyway, speaking of the setups,
Garbage truck. Let's get one from your park.
got lucky, got the tow truck, got an inconspicuous getaway, and parked it in a discreet location. Hey, does this area seem familiar? I got some jumpsuits and did everybody's favorite setup.
Nattering. You know how it is.
Yeah, whatever, man. So what we doing here?
Honestly, this one was fairly simple. All I needed to do was shoot some guys while Mike did all the hard work. Sub-navigation. Same as before. Hug the wall and the magical yellow circle marks the way. Why is it always at night? Okay, time for the actual Blitz play. Got a little confused where I was blocking the road, but since nothing was happening, I worked it out fairly quick. Okay, so I knew this was a big fight, and not being able to see my health would be a big problem. So I went with a Blitz play. Can't shoot me if you're dead.
Everything cool?
Before starting anything else, I went to see Tam. I can't really remember why. Maybe I figured Michael could use some upgrades to his arsenal. Maybe I just needed emotional support from a friend. Anyway, had a race. What does it mean going into a tunnel when I'm playing the role of the cops? Huh. So, I knew where the destination was, but wasn't sure the quickest way to get there, so I was worried I wouldn't win the race. You don't need to win the race for this mission, but come on, we've got to win that race. I had a head start, so I could afford a little inefficient routing, which led to one hell of a close finish. Now, this is just kind of a footnote, but despite
Oh, and Michael, I'll be in touch about your friend, Solomon.
I'd forgot what to do next with Michael, so after finding his house missionless, I switched to Franklin. Good job, Rockstar. We're all very proud of you. Okay, so the first half of this mission is just a camera view, which we established before is all good. After confronting Chad Mulligan, you can either kill him or just drive off. If you leave him alive, he'll call the cops on you, which we've shown is a bit of a problem for us, so... And then I forgot what mission was next. I spent a while wandering around as Franklin, going to spots missions usually trigger. I even switched to Trevor briefly before realizing the wheel showed he had no missions. Then I remembered, oh yeah, the whole reason Michael agreed to work for Devon in the first place. Met Solomon, finally, did a stealth. I beat up Rocco, bully talent, and got a promotion. Met Patricia. I'm sure we all agree this is first person. So, a lot of this chase is off-road, so waypoints wouldn't be all that useful anyway. Plus, there's a giant-ass waypoint in the sky with a big-ass line of smoke coming out of it. Nice and simple.
What kind of fucking animal do you take me for? No, I didn't kill him.
Oh, fuck.
But I did kidnap his wife!
This one was easy enough. Fly low, fly... Oh, shit, wrong river. Fly low, fly high, shoot, fly, get shot, and bail. Easy. Got caught. Suited up. Got caught again. Somehow. And we've hit a problem. Whenever I respawn, it sticks me in third person, and it won't let me switch back. I decided that my best move was to quit the mission and try again without failing. I also wondered if the woman being in the car was what was stopping me from entering first person. This led me to take a different approach.
Remember, no rushing.
After going to the trailer with both Michael and Trevor, it dawned on me. I didn't know what was next. I switched back to Franklin and tried the old house, but all I could find there was Tanya. Trying to think of anywhere that might have missions at this point in the game, I tried Trevor's meth lab. After wandering around for a bit, I was worried this wasn't the answer either. But luckily after entering the right room, it triggered. Told that we need a couple mil to buy a chopper for a heist. Like how we paid for all the equipment on all those other heists we've done so far. Oh, wait a minute! Trevor is a hipster. Had a race, crashed, and took the appropriate response. Won the race, planned the heist, and went with Chef as our gunman. While waiting for the hardware, I saw a shootout happening, so I figured I'd help. After collecting the cash and wondering how I was going to get out of this, the hardware showed up. How convenient. Michael berates Trevor for calling Franklin while they're trying to lay low. Of course, old Mikey knows better and would never do anything like that.
Where you at, man? Your house is empty.
Hey, I had to kind of lay low for a while. Yeah, that nice Mexican we met. Me and T did that job for him, and we fell out. I wish I was.
So where you at now?
Desert, out by Alamo Sea.
If he's back to Sandy Shores, why didn't I hear about it?
No, Chop. We can't deal with them yet. There's too many of them.
Ah, yes, you're right. Just like when you got the bike, and your date was Stretch, and that drug deal, and that heist where the whole point is that there was too many of them, and your killing spree at the studio. But 3 hillbillies in a car. You're right, Frankie. There's just too many of them.
Frank, you still there?
Yeah, I'm just about holding on to the road.
I didn't hang on to the road. Next attempt, I just tried to take them out. And you know that old saying about not spitting into the wind?
Let's Trevor get here.
God damn it!
Elk in the road! Oh, fuck!
See how you like it? Not fun, is it? Flew a chopper. Was glad Rockstar deemed this mission worthy of that almighty glowing yellow ring. Went hillbilly hunting. And we all went home. And so another heist begins. Shared incriminating stories. And now, if you'll indulge me a little, I want to take a moment away from the summary just to talk about how much I love the opening to this heist. The moment you get out of the van, the music starts. Slow, but with energy and tension hidden within. Then you enter the bank, and the music is overshadowed by the alarm, setting an uncomfortable calm before the storm.
We want a few minutes of your time. Get down!
Kicking in the door with a sound of the metal clanging as the first cop cars appear. A wail as the music starts to take over again. A low sound reminiscent of a heartbeat as a cop exits the car. Trevor makes the first move as adrenaline starts to build, the wailing increasing. An exchange between Michael and Trevor foreshadows the imminent confrontation.
Sheriff's here. We never could have beaten that response.
There's other ways.
A shaky cam pans around, showing more and more cops as the music blends with the police sirens. It seems the odds are with them. A comment from an officer.
I don't care if they surrender. I'm killing these some bad guys.
There's no peaceful way out of this. The confidence and swagger of the sheriff. He's toying with you. He knows you can't beat his full house. But as the low heartbeat from before morphs to rage trying to break out, you reveal your royal flush. And just as the sheriff starts to comprehend his situation, the rage is set free. Now, don't get me wrong, I enjoy the rest of this mission. It plays off well of what I just talked about, but I don't think it quite captures the same energy as that initial tension being released. Anyway, the rest of the mission is really just shooting people in a brief drive. Nothing noteworthy challenge-wise. Had a chat with Ron. It took a few tries, but I was able to get onto the train without too much trouble. Did some shooting. This happened. Figured I'd probably crash the boat if I was driving, so I let Mike drive when I could. It stuck me in third person at one point, but getting out and back in seemed to fix it. Steve sucks.
That is not a lie. I do things wrong.
All right. So let me get this straight then.
No. There is no getting it straight. That's the point. I do acts of terrorism every day. You two are dirty scum. Fuck off.
Alrighty, third person. Whoopee. You can't move anywhere, and you don't get any advantageous view for later navigation. All you got is a grate with some murky blackness behind it, and a cutting mini-game, which I'd complain about, but honestly, this is fun compared to yoga. Anyway, I think this checks out. Kept things quiet and non-lethal. We were rumbled, so I switched from my stealthy setup for a more conventional firearm. Next attempt, I tried something a bit more practical. Maybe I need to combine strategies. Okay, we've all died once, so next one should be golden. Fourth time round, I noticed I had an MG with only 54 shots. So, I decided to see if I could get away with only that. Of course, when you're facing a large amount of enemies with limited ammunition, you want to make sure you don't waste any and have good accuracy. Success! All we gotta do now is aim a helicopter with almost no visibility and a tiny aim window. You remember the Merryweather heist? Yeah, this is why I chose the boat route. Second attempt, I went for a long line approach. It didn't really play out, but I did get lucky. And said goodbye to Patricia.
You better treat her right, man!
Now, I knew a certain heist character that should be unlocked by now. You'd think I'd have learnt my lesson with McCreary and getting lost, but this one is a good driver for only a 5% cut. 5! But money doesn't matter for this challenge, I hear you cry. But let's be honest, how much of this run has been efficient and rational? Plus only 5%! That being said, I did have a bit more thought this time than the Liberty City Irishman. I knew the drop-off location was in Sandy Shores, so there couldn't be too many places to check. And I knew I needed a fast car, as if you don't get there in time, she'll bleed out. And because I actually applied 3 brain cells to this, instead of the usual 1.5, I made sure to save beforehand for quick retries, since I was fairly sure this would take more than one attempt. Now, knowing that I don't know which house it is, you think I'd be methodical and just go one by one, accepting losses along the way. But no, it seems I'd wasted all the brain cells on the setup, but even then I didn't use enough, as I had not made a new save after getting the fast car, meaning I had to get a new one after messing up first time round. And the event spawned before I could upgrade it, so I panicked and just did it. This time using Franklin's power to try and delay the dialogue. I have no idea if this makes a difference or how the timer works, but here we are. Then, after watching this woman die over and over again, I saw the holy yellow marker, semi-blended into the environment. So I floored it. And this happened.
No, aguanto más.
Yep, I'd missed it by like a fraction of a second. I had to double check my recording. I was so confused what happened. Dang it. Well, at least we know where we're going this time. Ugh. Since I knew where I was going this time, I just used Franklin's car after modding it. Honestly, I probably should have done that from the start. Anyway, I did it. And after all that effort, and frustration, and panic, what did I even gain from all this? 5%, baby! Woo! Met Deborah, unmet Deborah, and gained ownership of the strip club. Met Leon, had a nice chat with Lester, followed a couple of trucks, And when I say followed, I mean it. Not hiding from the cops though. Sorry, Tunnel Count. I feel you've been neglected lately. Flew over a hole for 3 hours. Bit late, mate, but alright. Trevor realizes Michael is, in fact, a massive liar, and decides there's only one way to get a real answer. He also steals my car, the dick. At least he didn't drug me like Jimmy did. Michael reads my mind. Listened to a monologue, visited the Easter egg, and couldn't get back up to the road and got stuck. Fuck me, I guess. Listened to the monologue again, missed the turning, listened to the monologue again. Well, that's ominous. Alright, I want to pause real quick. When was Michael born? This grave says 1965, which lines up with Trevor's tattoo, but according to this site, it's 1968, and on this site it is listed as both, with the implication of 1968 coming from in-game dialogue where a few people call him 45 during the events of the game, which is set in 2013. Either the grave and the tattoo are both wrong, which I find unlikely, or there are a series of false narrators saying the same information but with consistency, which I'd find a bit more likely, or Rockstar done goofed, which, let's be honest, it's probably this one. Oh, speaking of done goofed, this website has 1964 listed in the date of birth heading, but then says 1963 at the beginning of the biography. I have no idea where they got those numbers from, and what's better is that in the very same paragraph they mention him first getting arrested in 1988, at the age of 23. 1988 minus 23 is 1965, lining up with the grave and the tattoo. So how they got two different dates, both of which seem to be wrong, proven by information on their own page, I do not understand. While researching and writing this whole bit, my recording stayed at this frame the whole time, so when I was done with it and ready to move on, I hit play, and was met with this line.
You're wasting your time.
Fuck you, Michael. I'm not the one with 2 birth years and a fucked wiki page. Sort your life out. Anyway, met Brad, had a bit of a moment, and was interrupted by some goons. I'll be honest, I didn't really want to fight these guys, so I just decided to try and make a mad dash for the car. It didn't work out so well. Probably just got a bit unlucky with the spawns. I'm sure it was just a fluke. Alrighty, I'm gonna be honest. I'd had enough of this snowy shithole. I doubled the amount of bodies in that cemetery. I even looked back to make sure I didn't miss anyone.
You got nowhere to go, boyfriend. Alright. Get out the fucking car.
You punks better be glad you only exist in a cutscene. Alright, this one. I figured this one would be more or less simple. I know where everything is, no issue. As it turns out, I don't know where everything is. After getting to the lockup to find it abandoned, I started to worry. I'd completely forgotten that you have to meet Lamar in the car somewhere else first and drive it here. And even then, once I realized that, I had no clue where to meet him. I swear, this is the jewel store heist all over again. I was driving through all the local neighborhoods nearby, through alleyways, down back streets, every now and then looping back to the lockup because I am unmethodical and I guess I still was slightly in denial. I was getting threats from gang members and I'm sure a few calls from the cops about the weird guy driving around aimlessly. Now, obviously I'm not going to show you all this as it's painfully long, so instead I'll show you where I need to get to and how many times I drove past it but still somehow missing it, because I am unmethodical, inefficient, and let's be honest, a bit of a moron.
Where the bloody hell have you been?
Not gonna lie, this was probably the most painful part I've had to watch back. I swear this mission must have been designed specifically to fuck with this challenge. Anyway. loaded up the car. Now, I don't know if it was because I was stuck in first person and couldn't see him, but it took Frank forever to get into the car, so there wasn't much time to take out the cops by the time we made it up to the drop-off. Thanks, Rockstar. Luckily on the second attempt, it placed me much further back, showing around where Frank should have got off. Anyway, the rest went off smoothly.
Mr. Clinton, where are you?
Like, seriously, this mission usually ends while the sun is still up.
Oh, oh, oh.
Damn, man, you all right?
He's laughing at you, you fucking idiot! You're making a mistake!
It costs a lot of money to track you down. I had to call in every favor I could in the Midwest, and then you killed several good men.
Yeah, I did. It's funny, this mission is one that actually works to the benefit of the challenge, with the Trackify app being a diegetic way to navigate. But I already knew it was, more or less, so... freed Mike, had a drive, got fucked by bullshit aim mechanics, learned from my mistakes.
Fuck, they're coming after us!
Okay, let's be honest. This haircut is yee as fuck. And you know what we do to those? Ah yes, riveting gameplay. Met Harvey, went to get the architect plans, but they didn't spawn. While there, I may have got the cops on me. You know what that means. Aw man, I've missed you, buddy. Switch back to Mike. Got a text from Frank. Switch back to Frank. 10 out of 10 gameplay. Would press Alt twice again.
Don't fuck it up.
Fucked it up. It's probably faster this way anyway. Are those sirens I hear? I sure hope there is a way to... Chose Ricky as hacker because he's cheap. Daryl as gunman because he's cheap. And finally went with Taliana as driver because I didn't go through all that effort earlier to not use her. Oh, and 5% baby! Oh, and I went with the sneaky beaky method. So Daryl doesn't fucking die. Flew towards the magic yellow ring in the sky. Does this even need mentioning? Like, press space to leave third person. I think we're good. If we were just gonna blow the door up with explosives, why did we bother with the silent window entry? We could have just smashed the glass, did some hacking, and ran into a problem. You might think this is related to the swarm of agents filling the room, but no, this isn't the Avoid Swarms of Agents challenge. Luckily, switching to Franklin allowed me to go back into first person, but that meant I couldn't use Michael's OP bullet time power, but here we are. Once the smoke came in, I ran into some problems. I couldn't see where the enemy was.
Yeah, no shit, jackass.
Until they were already too close, and I got shredded. There was no checkpoint right before the smoke, so I had to go through the first wave again. But this time knowing every hit I took would make the smoke section harder. When the smoke came the second time, I tried an AoE approach, which did arguably worse than the first attempt.
Wait, it is the Avoid Swarms of Agents challenge?
Always has been.
This time I tried standing in the back of the room. I had less cover but was less likely to be shot. Plus I could duck into the computer room to regen some health. I tried to prepare for the smoke section by rigging the whole area with explosives. Now, take a wee look at the setup here. Do you see any large flaws that might cause this method to backfire? Fourth attempt and I tried to be more careful about my bomb placement, and ended up not needing them. Cool. Almost committed a war crime. It's all good, he's fine.
Well, here we are again. It's always such a pleasure. Remember when you made me rebel twice?
Oh god, this is quite the standoff. I don't think we're gonna get out of this one, Davey. I mean, we're about to be shot from 3 angles. It's not like they're just gonna disperse and allow me to pick them off one by one. Oh. Oh, that's exactly what they're doing. Well, that's convenient. The rest of this is basically just like your average shooter, but you have Deadeye. Easy enough. Well, until I got stuck on the getaway. Hey, isn't that my Coke factory from online?
For you, don't you know, huh?
Yeah, well, maybe it's got a little something to do with being caught in the middle of a three-way firefight between two government agencies and a private militia.
Jimmy's back. You little shit. I'm gonna spike you with fucking horse tranquilizer and push you into the middle of the road, you chunky wee bobber. Beat up, Fabian.
I've been meaning to say to you, look,
I've been meaning to tell you, what, homie? What have you been meaning to tell me, huh?
Alright, this is so much of a glorified cutscene that I almost missed the fact that it was technically even bordering third-person gameplay. But this whole mission is basically catharsis to that mission, and I don't think I need to do that whole rant again. I think we're safe. And went to therapy.
Get a center, Michael. You have no center.
How about you suck my cock?
So I tried to do a preemptive strike on the Ballad of Rocco. Disrupted. Come back later. I killed the dude. What am I coming back to? Does he come back from the dead or something? Alright, I guess I'll go try again. Fuck me. Fine!
Where are you?
Vinewood Plaza!
Hey, I know where that is. This should be easy. Here's the problem. That's Rockford Plaza. And as such, not where I need to be. My confidence going from, hey, I got this, to, ah shit, it's McCreary again, was incredibly fast. I at the very least remembered it being near Rockford Plaza, so here we are again, unmethodically driving around neighborhoods, and I got a faster car in the process. Tracy called me asking where I was. Great, real helpful. Once again, I'll not subject you to the pain of the footage, but I will show you where I should be versus a map of where I went before getting there. And then I'll one-up that by showing you this big-ass Vinewood Plaza sign.
Daddy, get in, we're going!
What the fuck you bet?
At least it wasn't as long as a jewel store heist or Pac-Man. But it ain't over yet, son. I've got to drive around to arbitrary locations more times. At least I had a place to work around. I kept looking back to the plaza and trying a new route.
Is he here?
It was like a block away. Fuck me.
We should try that motel opposite the big construction site.
Alright, that's a landmark I can work with.
You see him?
I don't think so. Maybe we should look over at Cluck and Bell. Rockford Plaza.
Okay, I think I've adequately shown I at least know where that one is.
We found this prick?
Not yet. Okay. Oh, how about going around the corner and back up the hill past Crockahoo?
Crockahoo? What the fuck is that? Whatever, I know what hill means at least. Oh, that's Crockahoop. The more you know. Anyway, we scared the guy off. Rocco came back from the dead. As the car sped off, I instantly realized the problem I was about to face. Trying to avoid it entirely, I fired a rocket in desperation. Now, you guys can judge for me, but this looked like a direct hit, or at very least close enough to have caught the car in the explosion. But no, and now they had a head start. I had no hope of finding them again. And on the respawn, there was a much smaller window to get them before the turn. This was gonna be painful. Or so I thought. Turns out, if you just drive straight out the studio, you can catch up with them fairly easily. And then all I had to do was attach a mine and I was golden.
Anyway, shut up and take a look at...
Get in! Get in! Get in, boy! Get in!
Oh.
Get in! There's a tag!
Oh.
No!
Fucking
On fire!
Met Tanisha. Finally. Did Rockstar forget they had a character model of her until now, or...?
Hey, look, I'll change.
No, you won't, and that's fair enough, but at least respect what you do, who you are.
What good character interaction. I'm sure Rockstar wouldn't forget about this complex dynamic just to undermine it later and say, haha, guy must get girl. Oh no. Had a long ass drive up north. Stuck Trevor with the bulldozer. Figured he'd like that. Put Franklin in the path of least resistance. I have a feeling not being able to see or keep track of my health is gonna bite me in the ass here. Overall, I tried to play defensively and let the AI do most of the moving up. Found Lamar. There it is. I mean, we all saw this one coming, right? Saved Lamar. Had a drive back. And the Fib twins told me to kill Trevor.
Michael, they're fucking us! The suits! And they don't even wear suits!
Well, what the fuck is she wearing then? Are they fucking pajamas? And off to the airport I go. What? Why? This is the fastest route from the studio. Took a different route. What, again? This is like the second fastest route from the studio. Took another route. Oh, this route works. The one furthest from the studio. Whatever. Chased Molly. And she dramatically increased her surface area. Ugh. All to do now is flee the cops. And you know what that means. Okay, so this mission immediately sticks us in third person. Now, I don't know how you guys treat this, but to me, I have zero control over this car, so I can't get lost, and can't really do anything, so you could argue for a semi-cutscene. I decided to at least put on cinematic cam, so honestly, it may as well be an actual cutscene. And then Devin called me, so I just rammed the camera under the limo. Hung out on the red carpet, and Devin did his best evil sneer, just in case you were wondering who the bad guy was supposed to be. Saved Amanda and Tracy, and... oh, is that the time?
What are you talking about? What time?
Killing time.
Planned the final heist, I went with the subtle approach. I personally find it more interesting, and it doesn't have any helicopters that I have to fly in first person. For primary gunman, it was between Chef and McCreary. Same cut and basically max skills. Went with Chef because I guess the whole mission getting McCreary really was for a single heist. For secondary gunman, I went with Daryl because he's cheap. For primary driver, I went with Taliana, because after XP from the last heist, she has better stats than any other driver. And 5%, baby! Woo! For secondary driver, I went with Kareem, since after XP from the jewel store heist, he has the second best stats for a driver. Oh, and he's cheap. For hacker, I went with Ricky, because he's my homie now, and I ain't passing him up. No other reason. So, I know you don't need these specific gauntlets, but considering the whole challenge I've been doing, you know, navigation and awareness, haven't said that in a while, so I thought it'd be fun to do the mission in a way that revolves around exactly that. The problem that I didn't realize at the time though, is that it really isn't interesting to give a summary on. Like, what do I say? I looked at a location on my phone, and then I went to that location. And then say I did it 2 more times? No, no one cares. Luckily, my incompetence bailed me out. I couldn't find the garage to park them in. Yep. Now, this time, it wasn't just the general area I knew it was in, but this exact road. Yet somehow, I missed it. Several times. Like, come on, it's right there. It's not even hidden. I got there in the end. And then I did it 2 more times. Well, I would have if Jimmy hadn't got himself kidnapped right after I was about to get to the top of this damn car park. I wasn't lying about that horse tranquilizer, Jimmy, I'll do it. Luckily, I knew exactly where this one was. Head up there, bash the dude's car, and save Jimmy. Because I'm stupid, I took Jimmy home. I wonder why I could have possibly made that mistake. Rockstar. Anyway, I eventually remembered the family are staying at the Richmond Hotel since the Merryweather incident, and dropped him off and back. Okay, back to the gauntlets. And then I did that 2 more times. Missed the police station because this building perfectly obscured it from my vision. Couldn't see the van from outside, and couldn't see it in the upper car park either. Tried another station and got sniped by a shotgun. Tried yet another police station. Luckily, this was the one. I don't know why I thought it was Del Perro station. Get away from the cops. No sweat. I'll just... What? And dropped off the van. Hijacked the vans. And that's right. I did it. The moment I left the tunnel, I immediately got lost. Like, can we have a frame count? I think that might be world record. The depository is here. Not really hidden by anything. We have a whole mission earlier about scoping it out. The second mission of the game, the first one set in San Andreas, literally drives through it. But despite that, despite all that, I couldn't find it. I have no excuse for this course of action. I have no explanation. All I can say is, I really am that fucking stupid. Second attempt, I guess I remembered I do actually have eyes and saw the entrance. Honestly, somewhat in awe of my own incompetence. Was completely inconspicuous. Loaded the gold, got rumbled by Merryweather. First person of a man looking at a screen. We're clear. Got through without dying. Honestly, that's a little surprising given my track record. Had a nice drive, and got away. Bickered like an old married throuple, and went back to Michael's. And everyone got angry at everyone. God, it's like talking about Star Wars to Star Wars fans. Had to make a judgment call. If I was efficient, I would have picked option A. But I didn't scrape my way here by making dumb decisions and wasting time to suddenly be efficient now. We're doing this thing our way. The right way. The third way. Lester came up with a plan.
It's all good, nigga. Who better to have in a fucked up situation than a fucked up fool like me?
Lamar shows why he's the #1 homie. Got slightly lost. I mean, let's be honest, if we ended this thing without getting lost at least one more time, it wouldn't feel right. Eventually, I found the old tracks and followed them to the foundry. I love how long Michael takes to lower his gun, only to immediately raise it again when Trevor turns. Trap was set, and so begins the takedown. Saved Lamar. After all,
it wouldn't be right if I didn't have to save your ass just once.
Got cocky. Got stuck. Trevor got winded and survived the final wave. Made our final hit list. Did the highest body count drive-by so far to the triad. And had all the cool points I had just earned revoked. One-upped my previous drive-by. Mike took out like 7 dudes in a second. Kinda scary when you think about it. Steve got haned.
Oh my god! The guy! What's his name? He shot him!
Cameron didn't even know his name. Blah blah, something guards. Yeah, so did you see that shit we just pushed through? I think we'll be fine. Nabbed Devon, and went for a nice, leisurely drive. After a chance to let Devon know we did in fact beat him, it leads us to the final gameplay of the game. And it's locked in third person. Fuck. They had to sneak one in right at the end, didn't they? Ah well. I think I've explained multiple times, and in multiple ways throughout this challenge, why this is okay. Just let it be. Finished Devon. The trio all reconciled, and as the sun was setting, the music was fading in, and it was dawning on Trevor he had no ride home. I had finished the challenge. Hey, it's unscripted Len here. Wow, that was quite the long video, huh? That took a while, not just to watch for you, but to edit. I mean, wow. I mean, it was probably a mistake, but it was fun, right? That's the what matters. So the real question is, did I do the challenge? No, like I went into third person so many times, but that's a literal sense. I think the spirit of the challenge, I think I did, and I think that's, you know, that's worth an accomplishment. So, you know, that's fun. While I'm here, I may as well give a few shout outs. One to that goddamn channel that did it first. So I've subbed to this person just so I could keep track of who they were, because I expected to be done with this so long ago that I actually would have finished this video before they finished like their full series of it, but it just took so long. So they finished it like half a year ago, and I'm just like, I had to change my whole intro because I was joking that they hadn't finished and I would sneak in, but no. I did think of it myself, like this whole thing was independently thought of, and literally after I finished recording, they just showed up. Like, what? It just showed up on Steam, the Steam page for fucking GTA, real life challenge, and I was just, my world shattered around me into tiny little pieces. So yeah, I've been seeing their uploads for the past year. That's been fun. Shout out to Nonbinary for voicing GLaDOS, because I had a few goes and man, I am not good at sounding remotely good as GLaDOS, or in general, but I mean, you made it this long listening to my voice, so you know, it can't have been that bad. And I guess shout out to me for editing it. Yeah, I deserve a shout out because I did it. I did the work, and that's pretty cool. Shout out to Alan, who is a scripter, who I played D&D with once, or a few times. So you know, he's cool. I don't think he works. I'm pretty sure he doesn't work for Rockstar anymore. So you know, this is a lot longer than I anticipated. So much like the video itself. So I'm gonna go now. So I hope you enjoyed your time here. I sure did. Bye.